for Illinois taxpayers that file an Illinois tax return and report an adjusted gross income of over $1 million, that there would be a 3% surcharge put on the money, the income over $1 million. We estimate that this 3% surcharge on the amount of money over $1 million would generate $1.050 billion. We estimate that this will result in about $550 per student.
Welcome to another edition of Only in Illinois, your weekly video recap from Reboot Illinois. In March 2014, House Speaker Michael Madigan proposed a new idea to raise money for Illinois schools, a constitutional amendment that would place a 3% special state income tax on Illinois taxpayers earning more than $1 million a year. Money from the tax would be distributed evenly to school districts statewide on a per-student basis. Madigan had hoped to put the measure before voters on the November 4th, 2014 election ballot. But to do so, he needed the votes of all 71 Democrats in the Illinois House to meet the 3/5 majority required for amendments to the state constitution. When some Democrats said they would vote against the measure, Madigan changed course and placed the millionaire tax on the ballot not as a constitutional amendment, but simply as an advisory question. Doing that required only a simple majority of the House's 118 members, and 64 Democratic votes placed it on the ballot. While more than 50% of voters chose anti-tax Republican Bruce Rauner for governor on November 4th, even more supported Madigan's millionaire tax. Nearly 64% of voters said yes to the millionaire tax for schools concept. The millionaire tax faded from discussion in the aftermath of the election. But after Rauner delivered a budget address on February 18th that called for unprecedented cuts to meet a $6.6 billion deficit without any new sources of revenue, Madigan resurrected the idea.
The governor has said that he feels that he can eliminate the deficits just by cutting state services. I disagree. I think that the elimination of the deficits will require a blend. Service cuts plus new revenue. And in the case of the new revenue, that's the reason why I'm supporting the imposition of a 3% surcharge on millionaires on their income over $1 million.
A week after his press conference, Madigan issued a detailed press release pushing the idea. Education advocates and the two teachers' unions for suburban and downstate school districts voiced their strong support.
This proposal is an important first step toward restoring the millions that have been cut from K-12 education in recent years. While not a complete solution to our education funding concerns, this proposal can start to move our students and schools toward an adequate base level of funding.
This amendment is a step in the right direction and would help take care of the inequality that occurs throughout this state based upon a student's zip code.
Our schools have lost hundreds of millions of dollars over the last 5 years, almost $1 billion of cuts to our public schools. And this hurts the education our children receive, and it hurts the professionals in the classroom. Stand for Children.
But does a millionaire tax have a better chance of getting on the November 2016 ballot? No sooner had Madigan started building support for it than Democratic State Representative Jack Franks, one of 3 Democrats who voted against the measure last year, announced he would oppose it this time around as well. In a statement issued February 26th, Franks said, quote, "The answer to Illinois' problems is not higher taxes on anyone. I am very worried about an exodus of our state's highest earners." Without the votes of all 71 Democrats, the millionaire tax can't be placed on the ballot as a constitutional amendment. While Madigan has said repeatedly that the districts of many central and southern Illinois Republican representatives would benefit greatly from the tax, it's highly doubtful that any Republican will vote for it. Does this mean the millionaire tax is dead? Not necessarily. Madigan has until May 2016 to gain the votes needed to place it on that year's election ballot, so he doesn't need to take any action on it this year. And as long as this idea is in play, Madigan can use it as a bargaining chip during budget negotiations with Rauner. Common wisdom in Springfield for decades has been that when Madigan really wants something, he gets it. Does he really want a millionaire tax? We may have to wait 15 months to find out. For Reboot Illinois, I'm Matt Dietrich. Join us again next week for another edition of Only in Illinois.
I will remain focused on the elimination of the budget deficits, especially the